Good afternoon from the Fox News deck in New York. I'm Shepard Smith, live on your phone and on foxnews.com. There's news breaking out of Washington, and it's a bit of a stunner on a Tuesday afternoon. We've just gotten word, and you may have noticed on your alerts, the president has fired James Comey, the FBI director. We got a statement from the White House just a moment ago that you may have seen, and I'll read it for you. The FBI is one of our nation's most cherished and respected institutions, and today will mark a new beginning for our crown jewel of law enforcement. The White House also says the search for a new permanent FBI director will begin immediately. This comes as the feds are investigating Russia's interference in the presidential election and the potential for collusion with members of Team Trump. Director Comey was set to testify day after tomorrow at a public hearing in the United States Senate. The announcement came just minutes after Comey clarified his testimony about the Hillary Clinton email investigation. And I must say, that's a very generous explanation for what happened. It was the FBI director who testified that hundreds or thousands, actually hundreds and thousands of emails were sent from Hillary Clinton to Huma Abedin, who was her assistant. And the word was that she had sent those emails to her husband, who is a disgraced congressman from the state of New York, Anthony Weiner. The FBI just sent a letter to the committee saying that's not what happened. It wasn't hundreds and thousands of email chains at all, but 2 email chains. And while earlier he had testified that many of those were classified information and marked as such, now we know none of them was classified and marked as such. Again, the White House says President Trump has accepted the recommendation of the Attorney General to fire the FBI Director James Comey. And we have a fascinating letter from Donald Trump himself. The president has sent out a statement, and it's actually a letter to Director Comey, and it reads as follows: I've received the attached letters from the Attorney General and Deputy Attorney General of the United States recommending your dismissal as the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I have accepted their recommendation, and you are hereby terminated and removed from office effective immediately. And here's an interesting one. While I greatly appreciate you informing me on 3 separate occasions that I am not under investigation, I nevertheless concur with the judgment of the Department of Justice that you are not able to effectively lead the Bureau. It is essential that we find new leadership for the FBI that restores public trust and confidence in its vital law enforcement mission. And he concludes, I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. James Comey has no doubt been a very controversial figure in American politics. It was James Comey who sent out the notification that Hillary Clinton was under investigation during the campaign. It's James Comey who is in many ways, Democrats have suggested, may have at least potentially swayed the election. Donald Trump, the now president, at the time candidate Trump, has said that he is not under investigation. But certainly the investigation itself is wide-ranging. You'll remember that General Flynn, who had been his advisor at the time, his national security advisor. We've since learned that General Flynn was under a great deal of investigation for his dealings with the Russians. It is now widely known that General Flynn accepted money from the Russians, that he, quote, misled the vice president, unquote, about that matter. And for 18 days, the White House knew that General Flynn had these communications and these conversations and decided not to fire him. It was not until it was reported in the Washington Post that General Flynn was fired. And many questions remain about why that 18 days happened without his termination. People who support the president have been saying this is mostly about the unmasking of General Flynn. The fact that all of that ended up in the public eye, that he was unmasked at the time. There have been hearings on Capitol Hill about this matter. And to suggest that there is no investigation of Team Trump regarding these matters is frankly without merit at this hour. For those of you who may just be tuning in on your phones, the late word from the White House is the FBI director, James Comey, has been fired. A new FBI director search is underway now. It is a late Tuesday afternoon news dump from the White House, and there's analysis now on Fox News Channel on satellite and cable. Much more at foxnews.com and updates here on your phone as they happen. From the Fox News deck in New York, I'm Shepard Smith.